All right, you country cuckheads, and that actually applies to every single one listening. Every single one, every single buddy. What the fuck am I saying? Everybody listening here, because you live in a country and thereby you are a cuck. I completely fucked that intro up. I remember I was thinking about that. I'm like, that would be a great one-liner, but it's very, very real time. Well, watch me suffer cringe in real time, right? But anyways, with that retarded intro out of the way, right? Welcome back to artwod, practicing the portrait roadmap. Artwod, once again, I'll have to keep saying, is the best fucking platform in the world, in my opinion, for drawing from imagination, right? Drafts. I have a fucking list. Draftsmanship. Yeah, draw along, please do draw along, draw along, draw along, draw along. Use these videos as actionable ways to draw along with someone. Keep me on the background. Give me every single hour of retention that you can spare. Subscribe, like, all that good shit. And yeah, I guess while I talk, because talking and drawing is a skill, I will be practicing. Again, we're going to be trying to visualize the center line for portrait. It's basically, what am I doing? I'm in the section where I'm going to look at a portrait reference, right? I'm going to visualize it inside a box. I'm going to project a box onto that reference and then put it inside a sphere, and then I'm going to hold that projection as long as I can and then put it on the page, right? Obviously thinking about the center line, vertical and horizontal center line, and in this case I believe the horizontal center line indicates the middle of the eye line, right? But anyways, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to be doing like an armor version of it next to it, like a helmet. I'm focusing on hard surface shapes, but well, anyways, we'll just see how it fucking goes. Draw along with me, you piece of shit. Come on, come on. Anyways, now that I've done my really piss poor attempt at trying to encourage people to practice their skills, I wanted to talk about something. I'm at a point now, actually, in my channel, ever since I released that beginner artist, 2-year journey video. I've obviously gotten a bit more notoriety because that's my most watched video now, right? And let me just see, which way is this fucker's, this is like a Ingrid Bergman. I don't know who that is. Oh no, that's just the fucking profile of the person who added this picture. This looks like an old-timey picture. This lady looks like she's from the 70s, 80s. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out which way is her eye located. Because the eye line, I'm understanding, is a great way to figure out the orientation, right? We're not seeing the bottom of her face, so we're definitely seeing the top, right? We're definitely seeing the top. But the question is, am I seeing the top? Right? But the face is a sphere. Well, I'm gonna draw the sphere and I'm gonna try to understand which orientation is being had, because her face is also tilted up. That's the beautiful thing about the difficulty of these. And by the way, like, while I'm talking, I'm analyzing, and while I'm analyzing, I'm also thinking, right? It's all happening actively. It may look like nothing is happening on the page, which is why I encourage everybody to draw along, right? Because hopefully these serve as reminders that no matter what you're doing, you're still making a constant effort to actively think, right? So that's a decent ellipse or perfect sphere. But yeah, as I'm gaining more notoriety on my channel, people are commenting. Many people are saying very nice things. Like one person, I don't even know if I should say this, but they had something tragic happen to them, and they said that, yeah, I don't want to like give specifics because I don't know, it's not my place, right? But it was a very, very incredibly sweet comment. Shit made me want to fucking, I mean, it made me very, my heart swelled up, as they say, right? I cried like a bitch. That's the real translation. But no, it was just very kind. They basically said something tragic had happened to them, right? And that my video, the 2-year beginner drawing video, inspired them to pick up art again. Like it really spoke to them, and I was like, holy fuck, that's crazy. Because I mean, I did say explicitly multiple times in the video, I hope this reaches those who need it, but at the same time, right, like, it's still something crazy to me. I'm not an authority. I'm not someone who's like, yes, I'm very hard-headed, and yes, I speak in a manner that's very like, this is the way, right? But at the end of the day, I speak passionately about things that I've experienced in, or that and that I've done a lot, right? At least in this context of art. So what the fuck? What is the orientation of this girl? Yes, you're gonna get whiplash because I'm gonna keep going back and forth, but that's why I can suggest you to draw along. Okay, we're definitely seeing the bottom of her face. Well, that's the thing. People's jawlines angle up, right? So that's actually another thing, is like, just because somebody slightly has their head turned up does not mean suddenly their jawline is turned up, right? And that's reflective of real life. There are many times when somebody's looking up at something, that doesn't mean, like, if this is the face, right, and this is the jaw, just because somebody's slightly looking up like this, they just turn their face up, doesn't mean, you see, like, this is my really, like, very beginner novice understanding explanation. I'm just thinking out loud. It doesn't mean that suddenly it's like, well, we see the bottom of their face. Like, no, sometimes we just look up. right? Like if the jawline was flat and they just look up, then we see the slight bottom. But many people's jawlines are curved. It's like this, right? Or like, what the fuck? It's not like this. What the fuck is the jawline like that, bro? I mean, yeah, if you have a recessed chin, rest in peace. But many people's jawlines are like this, right? There's like a bit of an upward angle, right? It's like this. So even if you're looking up, what the fuck am I even saying? Do I even understand this? Okay, I guess we do slightly see the bottom of her jaw now that I see it. Never mind. Yeah, we see her little wrinkly double. That means double chin. I take it all back. I'm an idiot. I take it all back. Fucking don't listen to me. But anyways, I need to see exactly how steep this oh, that was a mistake. Yeah, how exactly. I do think this actually is pretty pronounced. Yeah. That actually is, holy fuck, I'm getting better progress in my channel? Who would have fucking thought? But yeah, I'm getting comments. One of them, like, that was very nice, right? And, no, it was very nice. Somebody actually tagged me on Instagram saying, and they were like, they literally did like the cluster exercises that I had showcased in my thing. And they're like, thank you so much. You're a huge inspiration. And they tagged me. They're like, if you see this, congrats on 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, thank you very much. I appreciate it, right? And they like were quoting me throughout their practice. It's like, you matter. You have value because you're trying. Constant effort, repetition, enjoy the process, all that stuff, right? And again, like while I'm talking, what am I really doing? Like, what am I really doing? I'm visualizing the box. Right, I'm constantly making an effort to visualize the center line, the horizontal center line, right? I'm also trying to make an effort to, again, in terms of proportion, think about where the eye is, right? And I think this actually might be a bit too much, but this is what I struggle with, right? Because again, my mind still thinks that the jaw has to be like, it has to be the bottom, but it doesn't. I don't, like, we don't have to see the bottom of this just because her face is slightly tilted up. And this could be relatively inaccurate. It feels accurate to me, but self-assessment is also really important, but self-assessment is also kind of difficult at times, right? But we're seeing the bottom of her nose, so her face is tilted up actually. Now I just have to accurately portray, and these little dots I'm making are little markers, right? It's not an accurate reflection of her nose, by the way. Obviously I'll try to get the shape down, right? Like that was pretty decent, but it's more so for me to be like, okay, I do understand that, you know, the face has ratios and proportions that I should be paying attention to. And right now, this isn't what's required by artwod, by the way, but I do like going above and beyond, quote unquote. But no, just like I just like challenging myself, right? It's not really about above and beyond any of that bullshit. It's just about for my own sake. It's like I want to make sure I really understand, right? And the thing is, like, here, clearly I don't understand. I made the nose way too wide. So there you go. Beautiful. An amazing mistake in which I'm forcing myself to feel good because gaslighting is the key to learning. Let's see. Right. And she's slightly looking up now. Are these eyes too big? I made everything else really big. So I feel as if at this point, I'm subconsciously obligating myself to make everything else equally as big. But even with that being said, this isn't that bad. I genuinely don't think this is that bad. And again, we want things to be for the sake of this exercise, by the way, not because it's actually like that, right? That was a huge mistake, right? But for the sake of this exercise, I'm having it following the contour of the sphere, because obviously that's going to just help me get used to following the contour of a sphere, right? And I'm obviously constantly trying to think about this box as well. And that helps a lot. Like you see this right here, because this is the box is literally like this, right? So at least in terms of the bottom plane, right? That's relatively, this is a bit inaccurate, this one, but that's relatively what I'm trying to see. But what I'm trying to say is I'm getting comments, right? I'm getting comments, just here and there, and also because I'm fucking addicted to checking the comments at this point, right? So I need to stop that. It's only gonna get worse as it, like the feeling is only gonna get worse as I continue to expand in influence, right? Because now I'm at a point where people are giving me tips, right? And not the kind of tip that tastes good, but the, like, you know, art tips. It's a fucking shit joke. But anyways, okay, that doesn't look too bad. Again, like it's starting to look like faces or expressions or features placed on top of a relatively accurate center line. And that's the big goal right now, is like really just internalize as much of the center line and the proportions to the best that I can, right? While visualizing, of course, the box and the sphere and the center line and everything inside that box. So the beautiful part about this section now is I translate it over, and I have to visualize not the face, but obviously, but like maybe the face, but the center line, the horizontal and vertical center line, and the box inside that, and then I have to draw interesting shapes, or like what I'm trying to do is hard surface shapes around that, right? And obviously, if I had my laptop next to me, unfortunately, I left my laptop charger at a friend's place, so it's gonna die soon. So I ordered a new charger tomorrow, and that's why, long-winded way of saying I cannot have Pinterest next to me to give me inspiration. And I'm not gonna change Pinterest on my iPad because that's where the face is, the portrait reference. I'm also a lazy piece of shit, so. But this is a great way for me to think about what's it called? Yeah, this is not a bad way for me to think about interesting shapes, right? And again, the main thing is just it's all about contour manipulation, right? Oh, not what the fuck am I saying? Not contour manipulation. I'm just fucking saying things because again, I'm trying to talk, visualize, which is incredibly difficult, and I feel amazing. Like this feels amazing. It's so incredibly difficult. I'm trying to talk, visualize, and explain what I'm doing and focus at the same time. Which is, might as well go fuck myself. But, you know, before I do that, I do have to talk and visualize, so. That's the laugh I chose. But yeah, I'm getting feedback now, right? I'm getting feedback now, and somebody wrote a pretty decent comment, right? And a big thing about feedback is like I personally believe it's important to take it all with a fucking grain of salt, to be honest, right? Not because you want to disparage the feedback, and not because you want to be a dick about not taking feedback, but you want to essentially not take it so seriously, in the sense that you only want to take what's relevant to you, what you feel is relevant in your given moment, right? I think we can all acknowledge that, like, basically, all well-intentioned feedback will have merit to some degree, but contextually speaking, only parts of it will have merit to a great degree, and the rest will be completely put in the background or forgotten about, right? And that's what I'm trying to talk about right now. So somebody basically commented saying, they're like, a couple things. First, you should use sketchbooks. I tried. I do use them sparingly, right? I think the intention is like, oh, experiment, mess around, but like, I don't really give a fuck about that. Like, I bought so many fucking random sketchbooks and I just like draw randomly in them. That's not my practice. Like, that's not what I do for art. I just like paper paper. What the fuck is wrong with me? But I like printer paper. I literally just like printer paper. So that's the only reason I I stick with it, right? Hold up. This is very difficult. Let's see, and then something like that. Again, I'm really just trying to visualize. By the way, don't forget, I'm trying to visualize some sort of continuity here, right? We're trying to make sense of this shit. I'm trying to make a lot of sense of this shit. I'm trying to put it all in a goddamn box as well. Oh yeah, but they basically said use sketchbooks. Cool. I was like, I'll see, right? Like, that's nice. That's cool and all. They also said my 2-point perspective was really off. I don't know if they're basing it off of only what they saw in that video, but that was the first 2 years. I feel as if it's gotten a lot better. They suggested I use grid lines. I will never use grid lines. Again, I understand the merit of grid lines. I used them a lot in the beginning, as you can see from that video, right? I used them a fuck ton in the beginning, but now and always, because I'm enamored by extremely just expert draftsmanship, I am enamored by that. And I'm enamored by confidence, and I'm enamored by just pushing my brain to the absolute fucking limit. Like right now, I'm really in extreme discomfort because I'm talking while designing, while thinking about the box, while thinking about the sphere inside the box, while thinking about the 3D space that it resides in. Right? That none of that is easy, and I've already made quite a few mistakes because it's hard to fucking talk and to keep all of this in mind and also understand the logic of what you're saying. But the point is, it doesn't fucking matter because I'm doing it right now, right? Like, and I just have to, that's just something I have to do. Like, I don't think that made sense, but let's see. But yeah, they said, like, you know, your perspective's off, use grid lines. I'm not sure how relevant that's going to be to me right now, but I guess I understand the, yeah, I guess I understand what they're trying to say. Also, again, like, I'm thinking, so give me a moment, fuck off. Die, please die. Okay, and this is also a bit off. And the thing is, like, at the end of the day, am I really trying to design a helmet? Yes, but what I'm really doing is the skill of focusing on visualizing a base structure with center lines and then just adding shapes on top of it, right? That's at the most simple. That's what I'm trying to do, and it's not simple. It's extremely fucking difficult. What else did they say? They said you should try new things like watercolor. I agree, watercolor is on the list, but don't forget I'm retarded. I think we have to be very clear that I'm retarded, right? I can only do one thing at a time because I can only focus on one thing at a time, and I only have 1 to 2 hours in a day to draw, right? At most. Right? So I have to be very specific about the things that I practice. Watercolor is 10, 15 years from now, right? That's not happening for a while. But the Animorphs covers will be in watercolor most likely, or acrylic markers. So whichever I choose, I'll be obviously spending years practicing that. So yeah, I agree. I should do that more. They said a couple things as well. Yeah, like, they said to never always have grid lines, never get rid of them. Again, I completely disagree. I just completely disagree with that, right? I think there's a beautiful thing in just training the fuck out of your mind to do the difficult thing of visualizing. If people before us and now consistently can see those things without grid lines because they've trained themselves, why the fuck shouldn't I be able to do that, right? And I'm not saying this in like a mean, angry way or like, why are you saying this? I'm just saying, like, I guess in a very intense way. It's like, why should I limit myself to the confines of assistance, right? To like of artistic assistance when it comes to lands. What the fuck am I trying to say? I don't fucking know. But whatever. I hope you guys understand that I'm better than you. Then let's see. Yeah, see, like, it's hard, man. It's so hard to fucking visualize and understand and what's going on because again, like, yes, I'm really trying to draw a helmet, but I do want to draw one, and I do want to think about the box while I draw it, and I do want to make sure that everything makes sense and that the contour line makes sense, right? Now, that's a bit too far out. Now, like, it's like, okay, like, what happens here? What is a quote-unquote interesting shape that we can do here? Maybe something like that? I don't know. Right? This doesn't really make too much sense, but maybe we can have it make a little bit more sense, right? But it's getting better. I do think my ability to see is getting better, which is the biggest thing, right? It's like seeing is very, very helpful as a skill. It's like, okay, like, but what do I want to do here? What kind of, and it's all about what ifs. It's all about what ifs. Like, what if I do this? What if I do that? Right? So if it's all about what ifs, then it's like, okay, what if this has something that juts out like so? Right? If it's, and this is just me thinking out loud. Never forget. Like, I'm just thinking, and I think that's the beauty of this thinking out loud experiment. It's like, it's just the what ifs, right? And there's a lot of issues. There's, of course, a lot of issues, right? But did something like this, and then maybe we want something here. Because again, I'm trying to think about the perspective, and obviously, like, I keep saying the same thing over and over. But what I'm really trying to say is I'm trying to think about interesting angles within this perspective. I keep trying to visualize, and the ellipse, I'm trying to, like, the contour inside, or the sphere, the 3D sphere, I'm trying to do inside of that. So like over here, like, what kind of function? Because we want to also think about function in design. It's extremely difficult, right? What is a good design shape? You know. So what is it? Something like this, and what I do right here could completely fuck it up, right? By the way. It's important to know what I do here could completely fuck it up. But the point is I'm doing it, right? The point is that I'm just trying to make sense of it all. It doesn't really make too much sense, but either way. And again, like, we're trying to follow the contour line. We can actually, like, get that little motif. And that's a fancy word, right? Motif. Back. And okay. So again, did I really make much sense? Probably not. Right? Probably not. But I'm trying so hard. Please forgive me. right? Let's see, some sort of elliptical shape. You know, maybe this is for like radio communications, right? So we can even have, that was supposed to be more of a wire-like shape. See? Something like that. So again, it's like if we're thinking about perspective, right? Because this was supposed to be in perspective, but I think I fucked it up a little. Something like that. And about on the other side, it shouldn't be anything more than this. That really doesn't look like wire, so we're just gonna assume that it's part of the design or something. Okay, whatever. I 100% know that this is probably like my shoddiest one so far, and it is not accurate as much as I would want it to be, because you see, like, this should be way more, right? And yeah, like I can do these little reaffirming lines to be like, hey, 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 look, it's actually isn't that perspective, but it's not about that. It's about me accurately seeing it underneath. Right, but that's what I mean. Like, I do not want to use guidelines, not because I think guidelines are not helpful, but because I can literally, and I will consistently calculate the guidelines with my hands and my mind. Right, after a certain while, you just get better at doing it. You know, it's that is my quote unquote intuitive perspective, in the sense that I will literally brute force it into my mind through sheer effort. Right, and I find that to be extremely beautiful, and I find that to be very worthwhile, and I find that and to be something excellent to strive towards, because the people I look up to do that type of stuff, and that doesn't mean they don't use guidelines, right? But I'm trying to see how far I can go. I'm just trying to see how far I can go, right? There will be contention about this. Honestly, I'll probably ignore all of that fucking contention. Anything regarding guidelines, like, I can literally practice and see the guidelines. It's not that hard for me to visualize and just consistently practice and see guidelines. And in my spare time, every now and then, I still just draw as accurate of a fucking like square plane as I can, and then just put guidelines inside of it and like practice that. So at the end of the day, doing it like it existing on the page and existing in my mind are the same thing, in the sense that I'm still practicing that. Just that visualization is an extra very difficult step in which I want to achieve, because I found that to be beautiful, man. I said I find that to be beautiful, man. Anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well, right? And obviously, and the thing is, like, if you find that to be an incredible skill as well, please pursue it as well. There's nothing wrong with trying to do extremely difficult things. I feel as if a lot of this stuff comes down to people kind of telling me, like, I even had a professional tell me, like, this is incredible. There are comic book artists. There are people who've done, like, it was a comic book artist I was talking to at Fan Expo, and he said, like, I know people who've drawn their entire lives and they can't do what you do. Because I showed him, like, my drawing from imagination. I was asking for feedback, right? But his, like, thing was just like, don't be so stuck in your ways. Like, don't be so thing. And for me, it's not about being stuck in my ways. It's just, I only have so much fucking time in my life, in my day, and in what I want to achieve. And for me, it's 1 + 1 = 2. I currently am like super just focused on the number one directive is expert pen and ink draftsmanship from imagination. Everything that's encompassed within that there's like a fuck ton of skills encompassed within that, hundreds, right? So if that's my main goal, and that is my main goal, I will align all my actions towards that main goal, right? And yes, again, contention on, okay, what's the best way to go about it? Maybe he's doing this wrong. I don't give a fuck, okay? I will continue to learn and do my best. That's all that matters to me, right? Like, there will always be nuance on what I could do better and how I could approach this or how I could approach that. But again, I will take into consideration things that align with my goals and what I want, right? And I will disregard the rest or keep them in the background until, like, yeah, fucking 10 years from now, I'll be like, that guy said I should do watercolor. What a fucking surprise. He already told me what I wanted to do anyways, right? And I appreciate that people are giving me that advice, right? Despite my fucking extremely sarcastic and dicky responses. I do appreciate it, but you can't appreciate every single fucking piece of advice you get, because then you're just running in circles and you're not focused on yourself. So with that truly being said, now I'm gonna rest my brain. All right, welcome back, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I just love pen and ink draftsmanship, right? Peter Han, Kim Jong-il, Jae Kwang Park, Dong Ho Kim, right? Sori Kim. What else? There's a million. Karl Kopinski, right? There's a lot. Fuck. Anyways. Ooh, this is an interesting angle. I haven't seen something like this before. Just some dude looking off to the left. A gentle farewell. Atelier Labo. That's the name of the picture. Style Dieter, less but better. I don't understand any of this. Looks like Peter Pan, says one of the comments. This is what the fuck. Okay. Okay, so I see the box because this has a very square face and a very sharp jawline. So this actually isn't that difficult. It's conceptually not that difficult, but as we know, conceptual and applicability are two completely different skills, right? So, yeah, and like these shapes are super subpar. So I need to slow down, right? I need to slow down even more. And I know you must be thinking, what the fuck does he mean slow down even more? He spent literally 15 minutes on this fucking shitty helmet. Well, my dearest friend, who clearly has only the best intents at heart. PP? Say with me now, PP? Poo poo. Doesn't that feel better? I feel better. I hope that answers your question. But let's see. This is actually, I mean, apart from my my sphere being completely fucking wrong or dinky, this is not that hard, thankfully, for me to yeah, because like I can just do that, and then it is. This is a great way to practice, bro. I fucking love. I love this, man. artwod truly is the best. They truly are the best. Although I completely fucked that up. So clearly they're not the best, because if I couldn't do it, it's on them. Let's see. This guy's eyebrows are like so. Right. Eye is. Let's see. It's like this. And then this eye is obviously further out, and I'm not trying not to think too much. Genuinely, I'm trying not to think too much about the features. And these are all skills, right? So to completely ignore the fucking rest of his face and all the actual features that exist within that face, and just to focus purely on, okay, what are we looking at? Like, what are the simplest shapes, and still only see the contour in the sphere. Like, only see the contour in the sphere. Right. Oh, this is so off. This is super off. This should have been more like this. Way more subtle. Yeah, and his face is actually turned up a bit. So, wow, a lot of really good mistakes I made here. And that feels amazing, because I literally forced myself to feel amazing. You see, that's literally how it works, guys and girls, that's how it works. That's how you learn. Right. Oh, by the way, I hope nobody thinks that I'm just fucking bitching and I'm never gonna take critique, because I do really appreciate critique, but the thing is, there's only so much you can take, right? And right now, because I'm in the beginning phase, everybody has an opinion, right? Everybody will have an opinion. I'm like, oh, you're doing this right, you're doing this wrong. But 10 years from now, they'll just be like, oh, I guess he knew what he was doing after all. That's my belief. That's my belief. It's just like, a lot of people, and I think a lot of what I do, unfortunately, seems to make people a bit concerned, because it seems too intense or too much. But for me, the intensity is the beauty. It's like, look at all these incredibly skilled artists and look at what they've achieved. Okay? I'm simply going to get rid of all the trials and tribulations in terms of like, okay, first I do with guidelines. First I do with guidelines with pencil only, right? And then I keep erasing and I fucking build bad habits there. And then I do guidelines, but with maybe a more permanent medium like pen, right? But we're still using guidelines. Oh, and then years pass like between all of this, right? And then I do guidelines without pen. And like, yeah, look at that, I worked up to it. Or I could just sheer effort, brute force through extreme discomfort, but training myself to enjoy the discomfort, get to this point where I'm just constantly fucking thinking, right? Constantly thinking. But this was really bad, which is really good, because that means I wasn't thinking, right? Which means I can recalibrate myself to think. But anyways, that's just the way I see it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it, right? I genuinely don't know how else to explain it, apart from the fact that I literally enjoy the grind. Okay, that was a mistake. I literally enjoy putting in so much effort. Right, that's what I live for. So I don't know how else to say it. Like I just don't know how many other ways can I say that? Hey, I think myself and you have the ability to just fucking work hard, right? And to enjoy working hard. I don't know how many other ways. I genuinely don't know how many other ways I can keep saying that message. But again, I like to say if you're like me, because everybody wants the fucking reason to give a shit, right? So here's your reason to give a shit. If you're like me, right? That beautiful beautiful sentence, if you're like me, right? And you are also extremely logic-minded, right? And you are like, that does make sense. It does make sense to just do the hardest thing first because everything else is easy. That was my mindset. Do the fucking hardest thing. Do the absolute hardest thing first because everything else will be a fucking cakewalk. Why use the hardest, in my opinion, why use one of the hardest pens, right? This extremely fine brush pen. Why use that, right? No genuine reason to use it, right? Except that it's extremely fucking hard. That's the reason. That's literally the reason, right? It's extremely hard. So there you go. You know, a pen that is so difficult in terms of pen pressure sensitivity, right? Line control. What else? One second. I think this one is a bit better in terms of design. But line quality obviously is suffering. Yeah, but a pen that's extremely difficult in terms of line control, pressure sensitivity, right? And if you see that 2-year video, you'll see exactly how fucking hard that is, right? And again, I'm bottom of the barrel. I'm literally bottom of the barrel in terms of quote unquote natural aptitude. I am. The only thing I'm going for me is sheer effort. So why would I not utilize that? Why would I not simply live my life and practice in a way that that is conducive to the way I am, which is someone who puts in sheer effort. And I train myself to be that way. That's another important thing to note as well. I was not born with the ability to put in sheer effort, and I spent the first fucking 25 years of my life being a complete loser, right? So it's not about you're just born that way or whatever the fuck. I appreciate, because I've gotten comments that people think my progress is commendable, right? I do appreciate that. But I think what's more commendable is that anybody, literally anybody, can get to this point. Like literally anyone. Okay? Like that is an absolute, in my opinion, because everything's an opinion, right? So I have to state it. In my opinion, that is the most important part. That is the fucking fundamental truth, is that anybody can be great, right? Or if it's wrong, right? If it's wrong and no, everybody cannot be great, right? Let's just say it's wrong. Let's just say it's wrong and everybody cannot be great. Then even more beautifully so, I will spend my life and die trying to prove that anybody can be great. And when I do die and I'm not great, I will at the very least have been extremely excellent. And even that is something to be proud of. Because the excellence came from trying, effort, human effort. In an age of AI, right, that completely topic aside, I do think the most important thing to value is human effort, right? I mean, yeah, it's incredible that human effort gave us AI, right? I'm not going to discount that, like, gave us the LLMs and image generation and all that stuff, right? All that stuff is really cool. I'm not going to deny any of that. Like, it's very impressive technology. I mean, I am a designer after all, so I worked with these technologies a lot, right? But at the end of the day, human effort, like the people actually trying, I think that is where the value truly lies. Actually, I think I'm getting a lot better at design. It helps, it's true actually. Antonio from artwod put out a video, I haven't watched it, but his thumbnail literally was enough for me to reflect on this, where it said, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Like, it's not about progress or like all that stuff, just like you have to be a bit more relaxed, and relaxation is what creates your abilities. And it's true, I'm actually pretty fucking relaxed right now. I completely am. I'm really, really, really relaxed right now. And I'm not thinking, like, again, I'm thinking about the box, I'm thinking about the perspective, right? But I'm not thinking so hard that it's all coming crashing down on me, right? So, it's all there. As you can see, it's all there. I'm thinking about everything, but I will say, obviously, like, and I know I've consistently said, like, no, I'll always want to think really hard, right? And I do always want to think really hard. But also, clearly there is value and there's merit in, yeah, it's like you kind of have to blend intuition. But the intuition for me comes from the extreme amounts of effort that I put towards not being intuitive. Like right now, like many times throughout this drawing, I'm trying really hard to not be intuitive. But like the more times I try not to be intuitive, the more times I have the liberty to be intuitive, if that makes sense. right? Like, because you're putting in all that effort to think, to brute force think, again, like to brute force think, right? Because you're putting all that effort to brute force think about all the little angles, you now have given your brain the opportunity to think about it and to be excellent in thinking about it. And voila, now it's more intuitive. TLDR, the more effort you try, the more active effort you put towards achieving a skill, the easier it becomes to intuitively display that skill. Like, that's the gist of it, right? The more effort I put into actively thinking about the box and the sphere inside the box and the contour lines on the sphere inside the box and like aligning the contour lines along the form within the sphere with that inside that box, the more I put extreme amounts of active effort into that, the easier it becomes to not think about it. But first, we must put all that active effort, right? And I obviously want to put always as much active effort as possible. Obviously, I'm not really trying to render, but I guess this is me noodling, right? But this is actually probably my best design so far. Clearly, I struggle a lot with the bottom angle, so I'm going to choose I'm going to choose a bottom angle next time as well. And we're going to go with that. But for the time being, let's just do something like this. Okay, and how do I want to end this? This just ended up becoming a fucking skull of some sort. I did mess this up quite a bit. I actually completely fucked it up at the end. Holy shit, this is what happens when you don't think. Guys and girls, yeah, all that good shit, right? Both genders. But look at that. In the one instance where I was like, let me just finish it, whatever, because I just didn't think, look, it's completely off now. Look at that. I'm leaving this. I want this to be a showcase that when you're thinking is when you're learning and actually practicing. That was incredible. That was actually fucking incredible. Okay, cool. Let me rest my brain. But yeah, the reason if you're wondering why that's wrong is like everything was being worked towards like this is the initial sphere and then this is like the stuff I added, right? But this right here, this is the initial sphere. So everything was being looped around that. But now, as you can see, I completely just elongated and warped it to the point where it looks like a fucking gay alien skull. So, not for me. Not for me. I mean, it's a really good reference point. It's just a great way to understand where you fucked up, right? Okay, give me a moment. I'm looking for a bottom angle face. Is this a bottom angle face? Yeah, it is. Okay. These are very difficult. I love these. Because it's always subtle, right? Like you don't see someone like if this is their job. Very rarely do we see pictures, especially in terms of photography and like aesthetic pictures and the requirements for specific photo shoots, that somebody's face is like this, right? We don't see the bottom of the jaw like that or like that. That's really good to know and imagine, obviously, when you're learning construction, when you're drawing from imagination. I think that's obviously very important because then if you know what it looks like from the bottom at any point, and then you can draw any scene. You can draw someone jumping over, like let's say if this is the panel and like somebody's jumping and you're doing the bottom angle, like yeah, those are all very helpful. But the subtlety of real life, of somebody just looking at a photo, or like yeah, this girl's like looking off to the side, her mouth is slightly open, and it's just and her head's like again looking up slightly. Right, it's tilted. That means we are seeing the bottom of her jaw, but because again, jaws are nuanced in the sense that they're not just a straight square. Like it's like this comes out, right? Even if your face is tilted up, right now we're seeing the tiniest bit of the bottom of her jaw. But I have to understand and translate that in my head as a box in which it's actually a lot more visible than it actually is, right? But either way, let me actually start with the center line. Let's keep trying different ways to see this, right? Okay, cool. And I know my proportion's gonna be very off, so another beautiful thing that I get to focus on, and this center line is actually very, see, it fucked up the line. Very, 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 very shallow. There's not much of a degree here, from what I can tell. Yeah, we basically see both sides of the face evenly. I could be wrong, because again, I'm learning, right? I could be completely fucking wrong. And this is all just conjecture on my end in terms of like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? But that is the learning journey, my friends, right? if you're constantly thinking, am I doing this? See, I fucked that up because obviously I'm not the best at proportion. But if you're constantly thinking, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? You're basically on the right path as long as you're trying to course correct and figure out what you're doing. Dude, look at that. Like when I do like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit. See, so like there's always a million things to work on. Look at this. This is gonna be like a fucking extremely squished face now, right? It's nowhere near like this, but oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, let's keep trying to see the box. Obviously, right? It's very subtle. I'm pretty sure. And seeing this box is very difficult for me. Extremely difficult for me. I'll be completely honest. Like it's barely there. Right? Only a vague idea, like a vague idea is there of that box. This was a lot easier because I've done that angle a lot. This was extremely easy because this top down angle, most artists in general favor this angle because it's easier to acclimate to, right? So Jacob 2-2, right? All that shit. So hope that gave somebody nostalgia because great show. But let's see. There you go. That's not bad, apart from the fact that her face is extremely squished. It's not bad at all. Let's just try to get those eyebrows down without fucking up the lines, although it's too late. But yeah, I guess to wrap up the topic on, if it even was a topic, right? On like, hey, that comment, which again, it was a very nice, like, I'm at a point, fucking stuttering piece of shit that I am, but I'm at a point now where, little by little, more and more people will notice my channel. More and more people will either enjoy it, be neutral towards it, or enjoy it and they'll enjoy it and be neutral towards it, or dislike it, right? Or they'll enjoy it and feel obligated to say something, positive, neutral, right? Or be neutral and be obligated to feel obligated to say something neutral, or be negative and feel obligated to say something negative, right? So at the end of the day, the more notoriety this channel gets, the more attention it gets, it will get people, especially because this is a skill learning channel, and everyone will feel as if they have a fucking right to have an opinion on my skill learning journey, right? And especially because of my personality, it will invite people, because, you know, like, oh, okay, this guy's an abrasive piece of shit, right? He's a toxic male. I'm creating a narrative and hopefully it comes true. If it's not what I think it is, then is there even any point in it being that existing in the first place, right? I want only the story that I'm telling, and nothing else. But this is just what I'm thinking, by the way, right? But ooh, it's not centered. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't center it. Or maybe her face is just retarded. Is she lopsided? Yes, she is wrong. her face is the incorrect one. But what I'm trying to say is, as the channel gains notoriety, and I talked to Tyrion about this, like he mentioned this to me in Broken Draw, right? Like this is way back, it's been a month now. Or like 3-4 weeks, yeah, it's been like a month now. But he basically said that he gets a lot of hate comments on his channel, and like people always giving him shit for things. And so even someone like him, who, if you look at his channel, it's like vast majority are positive comments, right? Even someone where genuinely and generally, like he gets mostly positive comments, right? There will still be people giving him shit for being him. So that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously I expect people giving me shit for being me. And because I'm showcasing a very vulnerable thing, objectively, right? It's relatively like a pretty vulnerable thing, which is I'm showcasing my art progress. I know many people will feel like they have the right to speak on my progress, and I guarantee vast majority of those people will not even be as skilled as I will be at any point in these videos. I just guarantee that. Like, that's just a fact, right? Specifically regarding line, form, and composition, right? Specifically regarding those three things. I acknowledge I don't know many other things, and even within line, form, and composition, they might be better at me than some things than others. And of course, like, it's hard to tell. How the fuck can I take anybody seriously if I don't know who they are, right? If it's all anonymous comments, how am I supposed to take that seriously? Which is why I listen to professionals, which is why I got feedback from people at Fan Expo, which is why I get feedback from the teachers at artwod, which is why I got feedback from Broken Draw, right? Like, these are people I can vet. These are people I can vet and be like, okay, like, I can see their work. So that's another really difficult part about the entire thing, to be honest, is just, while I can appreciate the kind intent that people may have, it is the internet after all. So I can't just take Yeah, let's fill those nostrils and make her look even more disgusting. There you go. I can't just take everything as is. I can't just take everything as like, ah, yes, this person must know what they're talking about because I don't know who the fuck you are and I don't know if you can do this. Like, I just don't, like, if you can't do this from your mind, from imagination, while visualizing all the things that I mentioned, right? I can't take any advice you tell me regarding how to visualize in my mind to draw this from imagination, right? And if you're giving me advice on like other things in which I'm not practicing at all, then I can't take that either because I'm not skilled enough to understand what the fuck you're talking about, and nor am I practicing it at the moment, right? So it's like this really, it has to be this really fine line of me having to know whatever comment skills, right? Like to know the skills of that person, right? To see if the skills that they have are the skills that I want, because I'm, again, you know, expert draftsmanship is what I'm looking for with pen and ink, right? And whatever, like, you know, adjacent to that, like just that veil, right? Like, yeah, Kim Jong-il, but also fucking Norman Rockwell, right? And JC Leyendecker, right? Like those are all like fucking extremely expert draftsmen. Yeah, you know, Katsuya Terada, but also Loomis, you know? So, yeah, you know, like there's an umbrella of stellar draftsmanship that I'm extremely enamored by, right? But all of them follow the principle of confident lines, fucking knowing all the shapes, being able to do everything from your mind, all that shit, right? So, and like extreme fucking visualization. You know, oh, Tom Fox draws as well, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned him. I think I mentioned him way back when I bought his course, but I've never done his course. Like I haven't done it yet because I'm literally waiting till I get, I'm not waiting. I'm when I get good at artwod's anatomy, his is even more complex than that. So it's like, okay, there are layers, right? Then I'll practice his for like fucking months at a time, you know, to really get an even more nuanced understanding, right? And it'll probably be my final anatomy, like in terms of visualization, will probably be a blend of whatever artwod teaches as well as whatever Tom Fox teaches, right? So, how long has it been? It's been 46 minutes of me bullshitting. Well, I am still thinking and concentrating, which is good, but let's see. I'm getting pretty decent at these, apart from her looking like more like an egg rather than a sphere, right? I'm getting pretty decent at these. And now we're gonna obviously draw a helmet, and I want to think, because there's so many different ways to do hard surface helmets, and that's both scary and enticing. So, and I was gonna say earlier, like before I started this video, one thing I was thinking is like maybe I should start using adjectives. So this is like compact and dense. This is kind of like fierce and gas mask. Like, that's not, gas mask is not an adjective, but you know, fierce or industrial, right? Industrial. So for this next one, we could try, and we could think about context too, right? Context helps a lot with masks. So why don't we just say two random words, elegant and. Okay, so elegant is the adjective that I'm going to use, and for purpose, we'll say, I don't know, purpose is war. Okay, so we're going to draw an elegant war helmet, right? Now, even though that's going to be very difficult on its own, I have a crutch, right? I have a crutch that I can rely on, which is that I may have specific visual images in my mind, right? I may have specific visual, what am I trying to say? I may have specific shapes, yeah. I may have specific shapes associated with those adjectives now, right? Which can help, I believe, which can help me in creating this helmet. But it all comes down back to thinking. Drawing is thinking. What a fucking surprise. He said it again. Right. And yeah, I'm sure that commenter would look at this and be like, bro, why are you taking so long? Or, again, this is all conjecture. It's fun. It's fun to talk about things that don't exist. That's all in my head, right? It makes me feel like I have purpose. But, again, and the reason I even bring these up is like, these are just fun talking points for me. I just find it interesting to talk about more than anything, right? And I like explaining myself, and I like giving my point of view. And when I am fucking great, and 5-10 years from now, when people actually hang on to every single word I say, everything I say again, everything I'm saying right now will mean a lot more, right? It will mean a lot more. So that's another reason, is like, might as well get my opinions out now while I can, right? And by the way, if I change things I say in the fucking future, that's not me contradicting myself. That's me growing as a person, right? Why do you think I always am very careful to say, this is how I feel right now. This is what I'm enamored by right now. Currently, this is my understanding. Because that's all I have is my current understanding. You know, if you're so retarded that you can't understand that nuance, get the fuck off my channel, watch every single video and like, subscribe, and then come back and you too hopefully should have grown as a person. I really fucked up the end of that sentence, but hopefully it was inspirational. But let's see, what would this look like? There you go. We need to have a little more of that, like a little more variety, right? But either way, what was I trying to say? What the fuck was I trying to say? Why did I distract myself, you pieces of shits? But let's see. Okay, again, I'm trying to think about the box, right? I'm really trying to think about the box. And what I was trying to say regarding this is like this will help me understand like possibly fierce-like shapes that I can use, right? And it's possible that like a lot of it will be very generic right now. It's very likely a lot of it will be very generic right now and not have as much detail as I would like and all that stuff. But this is like, this genuinely is what's the learning process is like, right? Like my brain is really grinding so hard right now. I can't even, I mean, I guess I could explain it, but I think you guys all understand that I'm constantly, like at this point, you don't understand that I'm constantly trying to think about the box, the sphere inside the box, the contour lines inside the spheres inside the box, and then trying to place shapes within accurate proportions within inside the sphere inside the box. And I don't know what the fuck, I literally don't know what the fuck is the point of listening to or watching or drawing along with me, or because you're just gonna have trouble being able to focus on anything as well, right? Much like I am. Okay, so I think this is definitely incorrect, because if we're seeing the bottom, this looks like we're seeing it from the top. So this should have been something like this, right? Something like that. I feel as if that should have been more what it's like, because then that's when we see it from the bottom. And like fierce as well, right? We want fierce. But it's not too much from the bottom, obviously. This is just kind of like a mistake, but I'm allowing it to happen just because I want to figure something out. Also, I shaved my head again, which is nice. Dude, this is so hard. Again, I always want to very clearly remind everybody, I'm in extreme discomfort. Like, I'm in extreme discomfort. Why do you think I draw so slowly, right? Because I'm constantly thinking. But I guess let me try to finish the thought I was having prior, which is it's hard to take feedback from any comments. I will have, and I may honestly just have to not read comments, which is unfortunate because I know most comments are more positive than negative, like in general, right? I know I'm aware that people obviously seem to enjoy what I have to say to a degree, right? So I would like to I would obviously like to still allow for that, for lack of a better word, right? But if and when, sorry, not even if, when it gets to a point that my channel has reached a level of notoriety that I cannot manage personally, I will simply have to, yeah, I'll just have to not read it. It's unfortunate too, because I genuinely appreciate all the people who enjoy my content, right, and have nice things to say. Like I really do. I really do. And for me, it's not about like, oh, they have nice things to say. For me, it's the fact that I'm somehow I'm actually inspiring people to draw. And despite everything I say, or like it's not even despite, everything I say is purely me just trying to convince people they can draw, right? That like, hey, you don't have to give up on that dream that you had when you were 5. Like you can fucking draw, right? And that's me talking to myself as well. Now this is going to be a huge mistake, but this is why I'm in extreme discomfort, because I'm going to be thinking about this. There you go. Okay, kind of fucked it up. And you can see again, like my lines aren't the most confident ever. But that does look fierce. or elegant. Actually, no, it looks fierce more than elegant. I guess what I was subconsciously thinking of was fierce. But I was, like you see the wings, like you see the little wingtips, right? So I was trying to do that. Like that type of stuff is pretty common, right? But yeah, I guess more than anything, what I'm really trying to showcase at any point, literally any point, is that drawing is something that everybody is capable of. And yeah, people will have different opinions. People will always have different opinions on what the best way is. But within the domain of drawing from imagination, I'm confident that artwod, again, artwod, I am so incredibly confident they are the fucking way. And I'll keep saying it, I am so incredibly confident that they're the way for drawing from imagination and expert draftsmanship, right? And I want to stress that they didn't invent this, but Antonio has, again, gone through the trial and error, and he has found that, oh wow, people really aren't manipulating their shapes. Oh, I completely forgot to add this on the other side. But like he just noticed, like, dude, like, oh shit, people actually aren't doing this whole shape manipulation thing, right? And that's the key, What else? What other elegant shapes can we have? Right, line work really needs work, but I'm getting a lot better, clearly. Oh, that's wrong. It should be like this. And I fucked it up. Look, that's all it took, everybody. That's all it took, right? I completely fucked it up. But yeah, that's also a mistake right there. But hey, that's the thing, right? Like, actually, wait. If it's going like that, maybe I can have this one go like this. There you go, something like that, right? Although that doesn't seem to be very clear, of course, but it's okay. I already made the mistake. But yeah, like Antonio just noticed. He's like, oh, nobody's really doing this shape manipulation thing. I should help them out with that, right? But I'm just going on like a million different topics, I guess, right now. And again, like this was really difficult trying to keep everything in mind. Because I lost it much of, I'll tell you right now, like I lost it so many times. I'm trying, which is obviously, as always, the most important thing, that I'm trying, right? But I just want to make it very, very, very clear that, like, I lost this so many times. It's not even funny. Like the box and everything, I'm still losing it as I speak. Like right now, I'm still losing it, right? And this is incorrect too. This is way too much. But let's see. And maybe what can we use to indicate that? Nah, that looks like fucking dog shit. Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever. Is it at? Yeah, it's at 58 minutes. So that's not bad. Again, like, yeah, drawing 3 per session is normal. I'm taking my time. I'm drawing really slowly. I'm really enjoying the effort. I'm genuinely really enjoying the effort. And I will either do one more session today. I'm actually really not behind on my backlog, but it's like crunch time now, right? Because I have one video left for tomorrow, and then I have to upload another one. Tomorrow's Thursday, and I have to upload another one for Friday, another one for Saturday. So I either gotta draw 2 hours today, or 2 hours tomorrow, or 2 hours Friday. But I should have enough consistently. But I'm basically just like one video ahead at this point, when I used to be 3 weeks ahead. But end of the year, I'm drawing like an hour, maybe 2 now, a day, 5 days a week, right? Again, full transparency, right? And yeah, but the point is I'm still pushing myself. I'm really, really, really struggled. But before we go, we need to acknowledge what did not work here, right? I don't think I showcased this curve enough. Like, I don't think I showcased the horizontal line, because we can't just like be like, oh, it didn't work. We need to explain to ourselves. We need to use language, right? Like this as well should be, the angle's incorrect, right? This is like that. This one should be angled way more like that, right? Okay, so that's incorrect. What else is not working, right? Is the center line relatively centered? It is decently centered. Okay, what about the horizontal line, the eye line? Okay, so this clearly is not working. These need to be, there you go. Now that's a bit more centered, right? It's not even. Okay, let's try to make it a bit more even, the sizing, right? Okay, that's slightly better, but clearly I'm having trouble sticking to a consistent thing. Jesus Christ, fuck it, just do something like this, I guess. Okay, whatever. Right. Still not even, completely half-assed, whatever. But in terms of the horizontal alignment, right? This is not, like, they're not meeting it that well. What about the eyes? Like, what about this to this, right? That seems okay, because again, remember, everything has to be meeting, right? So everything has to be aligned to essentially that. Maybe not the best example, but yeah, right? So that means everything has to be, like, it's all being consistently projected down across the entire ellipse, right? So it also meet that. Like, even here, like, is this meeting it? It's okay. It's not bad, right? And obviously when curves get involved, it also gets more difficult to understand. But clearly the main thing right now is just to make sure things are aligned. So basically I have to, I guess I'll use a different pen. Yeah, I'll use this pen just to prove that I'm thinking about multiple things, okay? So when I'm doing this, I'm thinking about this, okay? Like, this is what I'm thinking about, right? When I'm doing that, obviously I'm not thinking about fucking Humpty Dumpty egg over here. I'm obviously, it's supposed to be a straight cylinder, right? But that's what I'm thinking about. And obviously this box is much more square, but I don't have space for that. Like, it's even just, it's a cube, okay? And when I'm doing this, I'm thinking about, not only am I thinking about the box, right? And I think this is where people start to either get discouraged because like there's so much to think about, or get inspired. They're like, holy shit, there's so much to think about, but this person can think about it, and there's really nothing separating me from them apart from the volume and the effort they've put in. Therefore, I will continue to put in more volume and effort. I hope the latter is what you internalize, and if not, fucking start doing it now. All right, start thinking, if they can do it, I can do it, and more than anything, start thinking, why the fuck shouldn't I be able to do it? Okay. Yeah, and so not only am I thinking about that, I'm also thinking, and obviously this will not be the thumbnail because it's going to completely bastardize the thumbnail, but I'm also thinking about the sphere and the accurate center line that's related to this, and I'm thinking about this. And that horizontal line, that eye line horizon, like this contour is the hardest part. But that's what I'm thinking about. Now we can see, like, there's a lot that's off, right? Like, the eyes in general, I'm pretty sure are off. Because if we were to look at this thing straight on, like, the eyes would be super lopsided, right? But I hope that puts into perspective that many things are thought of and many things can be thought of by anyone. But in the beginning, if you're just drawing lines, you're not thinking about this. You're thinking about pen pressure sensitivity, line consistency, and where the line is going from this point to this point. And keeping it consistent and visualizing that throughout it all. Right? I think there are probably some conversation topics I didn't finish at all during this video, but TLDR, I will try to take advice from people who I can vet, which is why I will go to conventions and actually talk to professionals. And for those of you wondering, all the professionals I've talked to, because the audio cut out on like the parts 2 parts ago or 3 parts ago, but what I was basically saying at the end of it is that every single professional I've talked to, which is like 7 or 8 at Fan Expo, right? So obviously I spent like fucking 7 hours there, and I spent like 45 minutes talking to each one because we were having really, really good conversations. But every single one of them, when I showed them my fundamentals practice, and this is back in August, by the way, so go back like 4 months. So go back like 60 videos prior to this video, go back 60 videos prior, like at that skill level, right? Yeah, every single one of them said, dude, like what you're doing with the fundamentals, like all this shit is exactly what you should be doing. They're like, this is fucking amazing. This is exactly what we should be doing. This is what every single beginner neglects, right? So I basically completely skipped the whole spiel of like, oh, you should focus more on perspective. You should focus more on form, right? In fact, they were encouraging me to just start my shit already. Like one of them, Jean-Paul Dessong, right? Comic book artist, really inspired by, fuck, man, the artist from Metal Gear, Shinka something. I'm really sorry, but if you know him, right? Like with the really painterly style with the brushes, that guy's super inspired by him, right? But either way, and it shows in his work. But he was literally like, start Animorphs now. What the fuck are you waiting for? And he was like giving me shit, but like, you know, in a very nice mentorship way, like teaching way. But either way, and I talked about that before. But if you're curious about it, go to my channel, and the thumbnail is to all the artists that I spoke to at Fan Expo. Thank you for your support. Something like that. It's that video I talk about it, like my Fan Expo experience. But the point is, every single fucking one of the artists, professional artists that I spoke to, right, working in the comic book industry or freelancing, but like many of them working in the comic book industry, every single fucking one said I was on the right path, right? Every single one. The only advice they gave me was regarding here's how you could improve your composition, which I know nothing about. Here's how you can improve your values, which I know nothing about. Here's how you can improve your shapes, which I know nothing about. Here's how you can improve your like tangents and shit, right? Like what I know nothing about. Here's how you can lead the eye to like all these things I know nothing about, right? That's where they gave me advice because I know nothing about it and they can see I know nothing about it, but not one person said your perspective and form and lines need work, right? Like they acknowledge and I acknowledge, I'm like, yeah, I could get better. They're like, of course. They're like, but this is stellar. This is exactly the right path. Keep practicing these shape manipulations. Keep pushing yourself. Keep practicing like the boxes and cylinders, like in the beginning, like the thousands that you did, amazing. Because I would show them, right? And they're like, these shape manipulations, these complex shapes that you're doing, here's how you can make them more complex. Here's how you can think while you're making them. Here's the things you can kind of like keep in mind, right? So all the advice I was given was not, hey, your perspective and form and line is not good. It was, hey, your perspective and form and line is fucking incredible for 3 years of practice, right? Or 2 years and 7 months or 8 months at that point. 9 months? I don't fucking know. 8 months. And here's like all the other things that we really want to encourage you to continue to work on, but like keep it up, keep fucking going. Every single one said that. So what I'm trying to say is like, I'm going to listen to that advice and take it in much higher regard than some random fucking comment on the internet, okay? Because I don't know you. And I appreciate you. And by the way, I'm not saying that comment this person left, I did not appreciate. It's because I appreciate it that I'm talking about it, right? And I guess like I'm stating very clearly that I appreciate it. But what I'm trying to say is I'm at a point now where I'm actually getting feedback and advice, and I may just ignore it at a certain point, right? Not because I want to be like fuck advice or fuck listening to all of you. I'm just gonna get it from sources that I can vet and that I personally believe have the skills that I want, right? That I desire, that I want to work towards and work my fucking ass off for, and what I find to be admirable and impressive, right? And truly like reflective of my opinion of artists, like artistic ability, right? So that's just what I was trying to say in that regard. And I think everybody should have that approach for themselves within their own lives for anything, right? You can't just listen to everyone. You can't listen to everyone. We can appreciate if they're being kind or neutral about it. We can appreciate the intent of what they're trying to say. And in this case, like, because I have a fucking platform to talk about it, yeah, I can talk about it, right? But just because this person said that your perspective is wrong and you should use guidelines, that doesn't mean I change my entire fucking practice and be like, oh, they said, like, no, shut the fuck up, right? It's like, no, I will continue to strive to be excellent and just challenge the fuck out of my brain. And I will not use guidelines, all right? And if 20 years from now, I crash and burn and I fucking die, it won't matter because I crashed and burned and I fucking died, right? But I think we all know, without fucking fail, 10, 15, 20 years from now, right? Many people who are going to doubt me are going to be proven wrong. And many people, instead of doubting me, can just continue to fucking join me on my journey and we can become great together. Like, simple as that, right? Turn your skepticism, what the fuck, skepticism? Yeah, turn your skepticism, Jesus Christ, I am an immigrant. Turn your skepticism into action by not focusing on me and focusing on your own fucking work ethic. Thank you very much, right? I'm never wrong! Hashtag lack of accountability. There you go, that's a good hashtag. I'm bringing it back. Anyways, as always, I hope you put a lot of effort in, right? I hope you genuinely put a lot of effort in to the best of your ability, right? And if you didn't, know that you still put effort in and you can continue to strive to put more effort in next time, because there will always be a next time because you're putting in effort. That's all that matters. I don't know you, but I will say, you put in effort, I'm proud of you. And you should be proud of yourself and, derive enjoyment from the errors. And as always, fuck you for, fuck, two hands. Fuck you for watching. Keep drawing. And please, give me a banana.